Tips in designing ceilings. As we fill our homes with lovely decors and comfy furniture, we also see to it that other parts of the house are well designed. Doing this will give your home a welcoming look. It can even lessen your need to get more decorations if you have walls and ceilings with great designs. We have shown you different wall textures as well as how you can add life to your walls. So, today, we will give you tips on how to design ceilings. Ceiling is the upper interior of a room. It covers the trusses and gives a room a cozier look. Some rooms may have plain ceilings, but there are others which have intricate designs for the ceilings. Of course, the design varies on the kind of space. If it is a modern interior, the ceiling is comprised of sleek lines and curves. For traditional ones, it would have sophisticated moldings. But since we are not here to showcase the different types of ceilings, let us jump into the tips that one needs to consider.
Consider the kind of space. This refers to the type of room which you will work on a ceiling for. Design varies from a bedroom, bathroom, living room and other areas of the house. Most of the time, ceilings on a living room, family room and bedroom are more intricate than those in a bathroom. But still, it depends on your taste. Know your interior style. We have mentioned about considering your space when designing the ceiling. Aside from that, you also have to make sure that your ceiling's design will fit in the kit of interior you want to achieve. For a modern look, you can add drop ceilings with recessed lights on it. It could either be on the center of the room or on the sides. You can also add some textures for the ceiling. For a classic look, a cathedral could be an option, but you can also merely place decorative mold. Determine lighting positions. Ceiling lights should also be considered. Decide on how you will position your lights. This will give you ideas on how you can design your ceiling. Or you can design your ceiling then locate your lights. Be sure that your lights and your ceiling will be in one, so that you can get a totally stunning. No ceiling height. Some ceilings are high, while others are low. You cannot add any more drop ceilings if your ceiling is already low. Instead, you can paint it with lighter colors. You can also add some texture to it, but not the ones that are too busy. For high ceilings, you can check on for more tips on how to treat them. Choose ceiling colors. Like other parts of a home, the color of the ceiling would affect the look of the entire interior. Use darker colors for large rooms to create a cozier feel. For smaller rooms, you can try using lighter colors to make it appear larger. But it is actually okay to use any paint scheme, as long as it complements with the interior's design scheme. When painting the ceiling, it is not just the color that matters, but even the paint's sheen. If your room has low ceiling, using semi-gloss paint would make it appear larger, and the ceiling will seem higher. Try to experiment with different paint sheen too, so that you can get the kind of ambience you want for a room. Think of acoustics. Think of acoustics when designing a ceiling. You do not want to converse in a room with a feeling like you are conversing in a very large room. To avoid echoes, you can add acoustic ceilings, or you can also bring the sound down. For a high ceiling room, surround sound by placing them around the room. Add architectural features. One way to have a lovely ceiling is to add some architectural features on it. You can add wooden beams, upholstered acoustical panels, coffered ceilings, breadboard, woven woods, floating screens, artwork, faux finish, or wallpapers. You will surely get a beautiful ceiling. Try different shapes. Experiment with shapes for your ceiling's design. You can go for rectangular ones or those with edges. But you can also try using circles and other curves. This can add a soft and flowing look to your ceiling. Do not be afraid to experiment as long as it goes with your interior's design, it fits your budget, and you have considered the lights that you will place on it. Use skylights. You can place a real skylight, but you can also have an artificial skylight. Create the illusion of natural light by installing lights hidden on a cove trim or anything that you would place on your ceiling. Adding lights under it will make them appear like a floating object on your ceiling. Add lights with different directions. Aside from the position of lights, the direction of the light also matters. Add lights that go downwards and upwards. This way, it can create more drama to your ceiling. Designing a ceiling is not just about architecture, but it is also about lighting. You can notice that a well-designed ceiling will still look boring without proper lighting on it. That is why you have to work on both to get a great ceiling design. You can also look into some living room. Every room has a story. Fall ceiling designs vary according to the space. A bedroom ceiling would be more intricate and never too loud. A living room ceiling would call for innovative bursts of shape and lighting, and should be convivial and attractive. A bathroom fall ceiling is much simpler, replete with good lighting. Kitchen ceilings need be more than functional, a little on aesthetics and proper lighting, and you're good to go. Every room has a story, and the ceiling type you use needs only to light it up. One of the chief functions of installing a false ceiling is to provide good lighting in spaces. Energy-saving and attractive LED lighting is a befitting trend that matches the concept of suspended ceilings. Small and numerous LED lights adorning the perimeters of the ceiling are a good idea. You could also opt for a grand chandelier in the center of your attractive living room ceiling. That over the dining space would go well with a few hanging lamps and beautifully designed lanterns. Another great option would be the use of skylights in your false ceiling. It provides the benefit of daylighting along with adding a mesmerizing touch. Color splash. The colors chosen for the false ceiling would really define the interior of your space. White is the commonest choice for ceilings, and a white ceiling furbished with lights is a great idea to go for in any room, although it requires a little maintenance. Ceilings of your living room could be in beiges and yellows and other shades of the same, to add a more regal look. Bedroom ceilings could be darker purples, browns, greens and grays. The ceilings could also have a certain texture. They might have a wooden finish to add a rustic appeal, or they may have a metallic touch to go ultra-modern. Play with patterns. Ceilings do not have to be plain always. Once in a while, you could play up with shapes and geometry to create interesting patterns and looks. The honeycomb is a personal favorite. Abstract designs for your entrance foyer certainly lend a feeling of awe and grandeur to guests. Well-lit patterns on your ceilings, whether floral, geometrical or intangible, are a rather interesting element for the semi-private spaces of your home. Curves are in. Ceiling designs can deviate from the perfect rectangles and the sleek lines. Curves, arcs and circles are a very interesting consideration when it comes to designing a new look. We often go for chandeliers in living rooms. Why not also have circular patterns and curves on ceilings to match up with that? Breaking the symmetry with curves is a very cool idea and gives your home a modern vibe altogether. At times, a contrast between the curves of your ceiling and the sharpness of the other spaces works wonders. Give it a try. Creative plunge. We can all break conventions and go for something utterly novel and creative. That is definitely allowed. If you wish to go creative with your ceiling design, there's absolutely no harm. You might want to titillate your kids' room by going a little outlandish. Or you might wish to incorporate some kind of exceptional patterns in your bedroom. You could feel like mixing up floral patterns with skylights, weaving some kind of a jolly structure for the ceiling. It's all a matter of creative thinking. Define the ceiling with a neat tray design. To begin with, you could try this extremely simple tray design. The edges are lower than the rest, giving your ceiling a neat border. It helps define the ceiling while still keeping the focus on the room and its beautiful interiors. To maintain the elegance of the design, install warm recessed lights that look minimal, adorned with a chandelier and a classy ceiling fan. If you'd rather embellish your simple tray false ceiling, incorporate a chandelier instead of recessed lighting. Wondering whether a fan would fit the bill? Yes, of course. We would suggest that you pick a style with blades that suits the overall design of your false ceiling. In this modern apartment hall, the chandelier, fan and false ceiling, with recessed lights on the edges, come together to make a and interesting layered tray look. Layered tray ceilings also make for stylish yet simple false ceiling designs for halls. Featuring multiple trays, this design is a great choice for those who want to make a statement without going for all those extra lights, colors, embellishments. Glam up your tray design. Want something more but still sophisticated? Have your contractor or interior designer fix a high-quality and polished wooden or plywood sheet to the base of the false ceiling for a decorative touch. You could also incorporate a material like PVC, metal or glass. This false ceiling design has a wooden base, a fan placed in the center, recessed lighting on the periphery, and two warm flush mounts on either sides. Collectively, this makes for a opt for a recessed design. Moving beyond the tray ceiling, you could instead try its variant, a recessed false ceiling design. This design highlights the ceiling as much as it does the room, but without looking ostentatious. The recessed ceiling is a simple design with coved edges. In the above picture, a row of minimalistic pendant lights hang from the center for an eye-catching yet uncomplicated. Give simple shapes a try. Now to experiment, and yet keep it simple. How about this false ceiling design, where the center has a circular shaped hollow, perfect to accommodate a ceiling light? Two tube lights tucked into opposite edges provide soft yet ample light. Or incorporate a suspended island. Like both the tray and recessed styles? How about you go in for a suspended island in the middle of your tray ceiling? The island accommodates cove lighting all around it, thus providing a soft, flushed glow to your false ceiling design. It attracts the eye. Add more cove lighting. This is a similar design like the above but with a smaller island. The smaller size is meant to house just the fan or a ceiling light. The smaller island also makes way for a larger space to be lit up by the cove lighting. Anchor the drawing room. This simple false ceiling design for halls is just one suspended island with cove lighting and 6 recessed lights placed in an even manner for a uniform glow. Unlike the other styles, this design centers and anchors the entire living room arrangement, almost like what a rug or carpet would do on the floor. Go bold while still keeping it simple. This suspended island is bulkier in form and has recessed lights laid in a unique pattern. While such a design is most ideal for high ceiling rooms, it adds an architectural element to this hall despite its average ceiling height. Update with track lights for a contemporary look. Finally, you could also try track lighting for your simple false ceiling. While track lighting are most commonly seen in retail and commercial spaces that need to be amply illuminated, you could also use them in your home. In fact, track lighting would give your living room a unique. So, which one of these simple false ceiling designs for halls are you going to pick? Would you like to see some unique designs too, so that you have a wider choice? Here are 6 unique false ceiling designs for drawing rooms that'll make your jaw drop. It's almost impossible to find rooms that don't have false ceilings, and one of the biggest reasons other than the cosmetic relief it provides is that it helps conceal wires, cables, ducts and the hardware of your light fittings among other things. It also helps you plan for ambient lighting, which is important to create a mood in any space. Gyotsna Bagot of the Blue Ceiling gives us a list of do's and don'ts while planning on false ceiling for your home. Check the height. Firstly, before considering a drop ceiling, one needs to ensure that the height from floor to ceiling slab level is high enough to accommodate a false ceiling without making the place feel claustrophobic. Plan. Freeze on a lighting layout in advance that will help you determine a design for the false ceiling. For small spaces. Minimize frills and choose designs with clean straight lines and avoid moldings, etc. in small spaces. For large spaces. You can opt for double-layered ceilings or unusual shapes, textures and finishes to create drama if you have a large space at hand. Run a border. If the room doesn't have too much height, then try and create a false ceiling that runs along the periphery of the walls so that it doesn't eat up on the height and gives you the option to create mood lighting. Maximize. Try and maximize the space between the slab and false ceiling by concealing all electrical wires, AC ducts, copper piping, etc. within them. Create support. Suspended gypsum ceiling usually is lightweight and is not as sturdy as a slab, hence before hanging chandeliers, any ceiling lights or even hanging decorative pieces, etc., one needs to know how much weight it can support. For safety, it is recommended to install a piece of plywood right above the gypsum sheet for providing strength to hold the weight of the piece. Fan rod. The rod of a ceiling fan has to be installed on the ceiling slab before construction of false ceiling in case of gypsum or any other lightweight ceilings. Check strength. In case of hanging a heavy item like swing, one needs to install a sturdy hook in the ceiling slab before creating the false ceiling to take the weight of the swing, plus accounting for the weight of the people who will sit on it. Provide insulation. In case of false ceiling in a space which is directly under the terrace of a building, it is advisable to place thermocol sheets as an insulation to cut the heat trickling into the space beneath, thus making air conditioning efficient with minimal energy consumption.